Hey ladies, welcome to day 3. I'm so excited. I'm fired up today. I have already done an interview for a summit that I'm being hosted on, and the reason I'm telling you about this because these are all virtual events. We mapped out my strategy for Q3 with all of my masterclasses and challenges and workshops and ambitious mom summits that are coming up. And the reason that I get so freaking excited about this stuff is because I love energy. I love having people show up live. Hey Courtney, I just saw you hopped in. If you're catching me on the replay, just hashtag replay. And if you're catching me live, please drop in and say hello. I haven't been able to see comments this week, so I don't know what's going on with that, but whatever. I'll come back later and say hello. So I want to talk today about 3 simple steps to attracting and converting your ideal clients. And the fastest way that I know how to do that, especially when you're just on your way up to your first 5 or 10K months consistently, is to use simple virtual events. So I literally, you guys will see me, I use these all the time in my own business. I host ambitious mom summits as great ways to collaborate with other ambitious coaches, service-based entrepreneurs, usually just coaches though, in my space who would have a similar audience to me. And we cross-collaborate together in order to build our audiences. And so I think when we come from corporate backgrounds and things like that, we feel like there's such a sense of competition out there. But in this space, we have the choice to go and collaborate with other powerhouse women in order to get in front of each other's audiences. And that all comes from this abundance mentality where there's more than enough clients out there for everyone. And so the way that we like to look at it is, if somebody is in my audience, but there's another coach out there that I know that might be better fit for that person, then I'm pumped if I'm the one that introduces my audience to that person, and then they can go and buy and get the results, the coaching, the transformation they need. Because in this online business space, you have to go work with people that light you up, that resonate with you, the way you like to work, the way you like to build your strategy, your systems, all these things, right? So if you're super attracted to like my fire energy, then it makes sense for you to be like, I want to be in that space with her. I want that kind of fire lit under my ass every week. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're somebody that's very, very like docile, you like to just be in the feels and meditate about it, then a different coach is way better for you. So what I want to talk about today is virtual event strategies. And I'm going to break it down super simply for you because I think a lot of women think, oh my gosh, I don't have time for one more strategy on my plate. Or I don't, that would seem so complicated to put one of those together. And honestly, they are the easiest thing in the world if you let it be easy. So just as a recap, day 1, we talked about finding your fire, which is getting super clear on what it is that you want in your business. So who do you want to work with? What problem do you want to solve? What do you want your schedule to look like? All these things matter because then we built out, okay, well, who is your ideal client and where do we find her and go talk to her? That's what nails your messaging, right? And then, even if you don't have perfect messaging yet, you're going to talk to a few people and get a sense for what they feel like they're struggling with so that you can pull them in with that topic and title for a virtual event. And so, I'm just going to show you how easy these are. This is the number 1 way that I show my coaching clients how to get really rolling with signing clients, because you don't have to be perfect. I talk about this all the time. You don't have to be the perfect marketer. You don't have to have the perfect message. You don't have to have the perfect offer. You don't have to have the perfect pitch. It takes all that pressure off of you to just show up enthusiastically and be yourself and show people what kind of value you can bring. So you talk to real people for your homework for day 2, right? Now you're going to use those types of words or those types of struggles to go out and create the title for an event that people actually resonate with. Once you've built an audience, you can just start to poll your audience, ask them questions as they're coming into all of your events. I get so much feedback from the questions that I ask on my landing pages when people are coming into my events that I would have never been able to understand before. And I often now will ask, what stage are you at in business? Because I want to know, are you just a beginner or have you been at this for a while? And then you would be surprised the difference of questions. Not that it's a different quality of question, just that it's a completely different place that they're in. So if you are teaching somebody who is brand new to business and wants to learn how to set up a Facebook page and a landing page and is brand new to branding, all these other things, that's a very different conversation, very different content, very different events that you would create for that person versus somebody who's already been at this for a while. They already have a bunch of these things built out and they're saying, I need to connect the dots. I don't know why this isn't working, or I'm struggling with the sales piece or the conversion part, right? So then I can take those words and go and create. That's exactly what I did with this event. With today's topic, actually, it was like, I want a 3-step process to attract and convert ideal clients on repeat. 94% of you said you wanted to learn that. So that's what I'm going to deliver today. Hey, Joanne, I just saw you hopped in. Okay, so wouldn't be complete without Rhett yelling downstairs. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is these are your 3 simple steps. This is going to be to create virtual events in your business, which don't get overwhelmed by the word virtual event. It's literally just hosting something where people can show up and learn something from you. So you are going to, first of all, create the event. You're going to invite people in. And then you're going to deliver with a call to action. So when you're first starting, hopefully you guys can see that. When you're first starting out, this is where everybody goes, I don't know how to deliver. I don't know how to host. I don't know how to put on. I don't know how to create an event. And it's like, dude, just keep it super simple, especially for your first few. Get a couple under your belt. Nobody is going to judge you if you have 4 people that show up or only 1 person shows up. Most people don't show up live to my events. Most people catch the replay. That's just how our industry functions. Or they'll catch it on the first day, but not the second, third, fourth. Or they'll kind of jump in sporadically. But we get so obsessed with like how many people showed up live. And then we forget to just show up because most people will show up later. So I keep my events. I used to run them. Oh my gosh. I used to run my events for like an hour to an hour and a half a day because I wanted to pour everything I knew into people. And were they awesome? Yeah. Were they basically full-blown business trainings? Yes. Is that the kind of information that somebody should pay me for? Sure. Am I happy to give it away for free? Yes. But at the end of the day, the reason that I had to back off and start teaching smaller topics and smaller bits is because people were so overwhelmed by the amount of information that I was delivering that they had absolutely no capacity to take action or to make a decision to move forward. So that's why I say, keep them simple. I used to teach for an hour a day and I would go 9 days in a row. And now I do 3 days, half an hour, because if you feel like you resonate with something that I'm saying, I will invite you to jump on a call with me. It's not that, like, it's a no pressure way to take a next step with me. So that's what I teach my clients too. Most of my clients are coaches. So you are taking something kind of intangible and trying to make it tangible for somebody, right? So you need to be able to prove that you have value, that you know what you're talking about, obviously, but also that you connect with that person. And then you're just going to ask them. I always say, take the pressure of the pitch off of yourself. For your first few events, just ask somebody to jump on a free call with you the next week to talk about their specific situation. Lots of people want to be heard. They want to be understood, right? So that's a very easy way to do that. Okay, so number 1, create your event. When I talked about finding your fire, figuring out who you want to work with, then we said go talk to real people, right? That's what the 30 people in 30 days is all about in the Ambitious Academy. If you were to talk to 30 of your potential ideal clients, do you think that you would have topics and titles that would be attractive to other ideal clients? Yes or no? I would say yes. Please go ahead and comment if you guys are watching live. So you create your topic and your title based on what your people are telling you that they need help with. And so remember I talked a lot yesterday about when it comes to messaging, you need to figure out the words that you're using that will actually have somebody that hears them lean in right away and be curious about what you're saying, because they're the same words that that person is using to describe the situation that they're in. I just had a lady message me today and she was like, hey, it's a good friend of mine actually. And she's like, hey, I have this photo organizing business. I should almost read you the thing, but I'm on my phone. I have this photo organizing business where I take blah, 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 blah. And she starts describing all this techno babble, right? You've heard that word before. It's like you're describing it as if everyone is in that world with you. So she's talking about like the digitization. I can't even say it. I was reading it. She's talking about all the how and all the steps and all the everything. And she's like, I just want to post this on social. What do you think? And I was like, good Lord, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And she's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, are you talking about when somebody has a bunch of boxes of pictures and old home videos lying around, or drawers full of them, and they haven't got to them for ages, and they keep meaning to put them into some sort of a digital copy, but they are never going to get to it if they're being honest with themselves? She's like, yeah. I'm like, well, just say that. Do you have boxes laying around your house full of all of your memories that you cherish so much, and you want to protect them from fire or make them easier to share with your loved ones and future generations? If so, hand me the boxes and I will literally give them back to you with a beautiful copy that's laid out, organized, you know, attractive, whatever. I can't remember what the exact words we used, but she was like, what? And then I just started spewing. I was like, put yourself into that person's head. What do I want? I want you to make my life easier. I want you to take this huge task off my plate. You might think this is easy and a no-brainer, but I don't. I don't know which service to use. I don't know whether to put them on DVDs or USBs or whatever. Like, I don't want to do any of this part. I just want you to hand these back to me. Done. So take this off my plate. I said, speak to that. She was like, oh. So when she puts out a social media post today that says, hey, do you have a whole bunch of pictures and old home videos lying around in boxes and drawers that you really have been dreading going through to try to organize? Like, let me take that off your plate. That's how you start that, because as soon as somebody reads that, they lean in. That's your hook. We always talk about hooks, right, in marketing? That's your hook. You're just saying, what are the words that that person is actually using or thinking in their own head about that issue that they have? They're not thinking, I need to search for a digitization process for my memories. No, they're thinking, frick, I still got these boxes full of shit in my basement and I've been meaning to get to them and I feel guilty about it. Right? So the words that you're using for a topic and title to pull somebody in, whether it's on a social media post or to an event or to a freebie or to whatever you're doing, has to be the words that are going to make her lean in. So that's where you come up with your topic and your title. Now, once that person comes in, your titles have to be attractive in that person's words, but then what you deliver can often be a little bit different, because remember we talked about the fact that you need to sell them on what they want in order to give them what they need. So once they come in, you could be like, did you know, if we're talking about this photo example, that's a tough one because I wouldn't run a virtual event for that, but I guess she could. I wouldn't, because I'm not passionate about it, is why I wouldn't do it. It's not my fire. But she could come in and she could pull people in with like, the fastest way to save all of your, cherished memories onto a hard drive. Whatever, that's an example. And so somebody would come in and be like, yeah. And then she could say, you take this and you send it here. You take this, you send it here. You order these barcodes. She told me all this stuff. You order all these barcodes and you put it on all your stuff, and then they track it all and they ship it and whatever. And I was like, all I want to know is that you're going to take the boxes and hand it back to me the way I want it done, right? So that's a very fast sale for somebody like me if I want that off my plate. But you might be talking about, remember yesterday we were talking about the example about gut health. So if I'm a gut health expert, but you really just want your energy back, then I'm going to pull you in on a topic and title that has to do with energy or mom guilt or feeling tired of being tired. You'd rather feel amazing instead, or what would be some other topics we could come up with? I would go talk to real people to find out what they're struggling with right now. I think most moms feel guilty and ashamed that they can't be more, do more, show up more, more quality time. I didn't get to all the things on my list, right? They're overwhelmed, they're overworked, and they feel bad about it a lot of the time. And so I would create a topic and title that speaks to, okay, well, what does she want instead? I want the energy to feel like $1 million. I want to be able to run up the hill and chase my kids and not feel exhausted. I want, physically, I want to get rid of the brain fog. I want to stop, feeling like I'm an old lady with memory problems, whatever. That's the title you're going to pull in. And then on the inside, you're going to say, did you know that what you're eating and drinking is the most common factor in creating exhaustion? And so you might actually be working against yourself. You know what I mean? But You can't just say, hey, stop drinking coffee and eating sugar and you'll feel better. That's not a topic and title. That would be true, but that's not the one she wants to come and learn about, right? You want her to come inside and hear some ahas. That's exactly what you can do in an event. And you don't have to deliver it perfectly. You have to stand up there, tell some stories about your own life or about a client's story so that it's relatable and connects to people that are at this event. And then they're going to see the value in what it is that you offer and be like, yeah, that does sound like it could help me. You know what I mean? So when we come into these things thinking we have to have the perfect bullet points and the perfect pitch and the perfect words, we actually just like paralyze ourselves. But when I say, I'm going to throw together a bunch of events over the next 75 days because I'm having a baby in 80, because I love to do this stuff, and I'm going to see what hits, some of this is seeing what sticks when you throw it against the wall. But if you're going and talking to real people and they're telling you what they're working on or what they're struggling with, then you know these words that you need to use to have people show up. So it's like, it always feels like a mystery in online business until we just simplify it. So number one, you're going to create an event with a topic and title that is attractive to your people. Because honestly, if I'm creating an event, I don't want people coming in that want their hand held. I don't like people that I need to babysit. It's a draining energy for me. I don't enjoy it. Some people love that. Some people are like, I get paid to listen to people complain. And I'm like, that's awesome. That is not me. Pity parties are short-lived in my world, for me included, right? We have them. We need to vent. We need to lose our shit sometimes, but then we get back on the horse and we get after it, right? So if I want to create an event and pull in people that I want to work with, it's like, it's going to be something about find your fire or move or ambitious, right? I love those power words because that's who I want to attract in. So that brings me to the next thing. You have to invite your people in. Putting out a topic and a title is not enough. So if you are still in the beginning stages of your business, which I would call haven't hit 5K consistently, or you're on your way to 10, anything under 10K consistently for months, 10K months is what I'm talking about. If you are not at 10K months yet, you still are in the hustle and grind in terms of reaching out to real people. So I'm not talking about cold pitching in the DMs. I talk about this all the time. Do not pitch slap anybody. I'm talking about if you have done the 30 in 30 days and you are continually talking to real people, then when you create an event, you have people that you know that you can say, hey, I'm creating this event next week. I thought of you because this is right up your alley with what we talked about. Like, if you're interested, let me know and I'll send you the link. Notice how I made it valuable for her and then asked for permission before I pitch slap her, right? Like, I didn't do that. I made it a personal thing. And most people are going to be like, oh yeah, that would be great. A lot of the people that signed up for this, I actually have not talked to yet. But in the DMs, it was like, hey, hosting this free event next week, thought it might be up your alley. If you're interested, let me know. I can send you the link. And a lot of you were like, yeah, that would be great. And so even if you can't catch it live, you're like, that tells me that you're interested in that topic. So even if you don't catch it live or don't catch the replay, I now have the ability to just genuinely build that next step with you, because I'll be like, hey, what'd you think of the event? And you'll be like, oh, I didn't catch it. And I'll be like, no worries. What was it about the XYZ that you actually needed help with in your business? And then I can just voice note back and forth and be a real human and a real person. You don't need to convince people in your business. You let them make decisions on their own based on whether they feel like it's the right move for them or not. Do you know what I mean? Just be a real person. And here's another thing. When we're talking about inviting people, if you have 4 people registered for an event at the beginning, that's okay. But when you get up to like the 40, 50 plus people registered for your events, you start to lose a little bit of that personal connection with people, which is so key when you're on your way to your first, milestones in your business. Talking to real people is the fastest way to sign clients. But if you're only talking to 4 people in total, then you're going to get into that desperate, grabby, pitchy energy, and that's where you do not want to be. You want to be talking to 20, 30, 40, 50 people over the next 3 months in order to have a ton of conversations flowing, so that when people are watching your visibility strategy, remember we talked about visibility, lead gen, and sales, your visibility is the nurture sequence for you. So if you're talking to a lot of people in the DMs and being a real person, they're going to be paying attention to your content and watching your stuff. And then you throw an offer out there that's just to you, it might be a Hail Mary, but it might sound like the exact thing that they needed. And then they're going to jump in and be like, hey, I'd love to work with you. I'm ready now. but you didn't feel salesy about that one bit because you were never a sleazy car salesman about it. One of the biggest things that I can't stress enough is you can sell without being salesy. The majority of people that work with me come in and say, I want to know what it would look like to work with you, or what would be the next step, or what program do you think would be best for me. Today I'm going to open up the doors for the pre-launch for the Ambitious Academy, which is like going to be my flagship, I can't even talk today, flagship offer. It's going to be my signature offer moving forward for like, I don't know, probably the next 100 years, as old as I can get. It is something that I've been working on forever, and I love it because I believe that women need strategy and they need systems, but they also need the support to go and implement those. And so what we're going to do is, one of the things that I'm going to teach is a simple event strategy. It's like, how are you going to go out and attract and convert your ideal clients by being a real person? You're going to find your fire, you're going to talk to real people, and you're going to create simple events to pull people to so that you can craft your messaging and get better at your offers and get better at your sales. You know what I mean? This is all supposed to be a process. We all go online and we look for this magic solution from these gurus, and we forget that that is not what actually got the gurus to where they are. They started at the bottom too. So if you're on your way anywhere from 0 to on your way to your first 10K months consistently, this is going to apply to you, and it will move you into momentum faster in your business than anything else. When you go in, step 3, let's say most of the time I tell people put 20 people as your kind of goal to pull into your event, because usually only about 25 people will show up, 25%. So if 5 people show up live during your event, you're winning, right? And that's a good size number for most people for their first few events to host. Sometimes you get 0 people showing up. It doesn't matter. You still show up anyway. You deliver anyway. So number 3, you're just going to deliver. When you're first figuring out how to structure or create or, do your outline for your event, I say just pick 3 bullet points. And then underneath each bullet point, you put 3 bullet points. And that's it. That's your whole presentation. This week I talked about finding your fire. I talked about nailing your message. And today I'm talking about a simple event strategy so that you can attract and convert ideal clients. I didn't make it 100,000 things like I used to because it's too much information. What I want you to see this week is the fact that most of you are going to need support and accountability to do this. Otherwise, it's just another good idea that you heard on the internet. So that's why I have the Ambitious Academy set up. But if it's a win, if all you do is take away from this week, I could go and create a super simple virtual event for my business. Then I feel like it was a win for both of us. So when it comes to your outline, you're going to do 3 points, and under each one of those, you're going to do 3 points. One of my clients, I won't say her name because I don't know I'm sure she wouldn't care, but she was an event, like a virtual event planner, and she would help you design your events, and she would moderate them too. And she is the least salesy person you're ever going to meet in your life. And all she did to go build her audience was have coffee chats with a whole bunch of other moms that were introverts. She said, who else is an introverted entrepreneur and finds it really hard to connect online? A whole bunch of people said yes. She said, great, let's have a coffee. And in that conversation, she would say, yeah, I help people run virtual events. And a lot of people would be like, well, that sounds like that would be interesting. How could I work with you? And so we created easy yes offers, which I always say have a couple of easy yes offers in your back pocket, because eventually, if you're being a real person talking to enough people, someone's going to ask you, what would it look like to work with you? And if you're like, I don't have the perfect offer, then you're screwed. But if you have easy yes offers, which are just like, we throw them together literally in 10 minutes, just so that you have something in the back of your mind, you already kind of have a comfort level with a price that you want to charge, and you throw it out there. You can even have a little caveat that says, but it depends on what you'd be looking for. Let me know if you want to talk about it. So she had easy yes offers in her back pocket. And I think she pulled people to 1 masterclass or 2. And the very next month, she made $2,600. She went from 0 to $2,600 in her business, because she just went out and took that uncomfortable action and talked to real people And then she invited people in to her event where she showed value, didn't pitch, just said, hey, let's jump on a call next week if you want me to help you with the strategy for your first virtual event. I'm happy to do that next week on a clarity call or strategy call. I can't remember what she called it. And she would drop her link. And because there were so few people, listen to this, there were so few people coming to her event that she was able to personally message each one of them to say, hey, thanks so much for coming. Would love some feedback. Like, what did you get? What would you like more of? Blah, blah, blah. Just starts the conversation and gives her great feedback for her messaging and her content next time. But also was able to message the other few people that didn't show up and be like, hey, we had our masterclass. Like, I know you didn't come live. I'd love to send you the replay. And then they would respond back and she would say, great. And then she would send it to them. So now she has another touch point and another touch point. She was just a real person. We feel like in online business, we have to have this like automation and everything has to work like robots and it has to be this thing. But what we're missing is the fact that we can connect with real humans all over the place without ever leaving our houses, which is like the coolest thing ever. But it's all about being a real person and building personal relationships. Once you've served 10 or 15 or 20 one-on-one clients, now you have a completely different way to go out and message and market in the world so that you can pull people to groups and stuff like that. It is very hard to pull off a big group launch when it is your first thing that you've ever sold on the internet, because you just don't know what people want or need yet. And you have to find what lights you up and the intersection where it crosses with what other people say that they want, because that's what they need to buy or that's what they want to buy. And you have to find that place where they intersect. Anyways, okay. Does anybody feel like this is difficult? Because I hope this was making it super, super simple. You create an event, which can be a masterclass, a workshop, a challenge, a webinar, a video series, a live Q&A. The sky's the limit. Doesn't matter what it is. You create an event and you decide. Just decide, pick a date, pick how much time it's going to take. Then we pick a topic and a title. If you haven't talked to real people yet, go back and do that first. I mean, you could do that without going and talking to real people, for sure. Try it. This is a simple event strategy. Worst case scenario, not very many people come, and that's fine. Like I said, that's good for the first couple because you don't want that pressure, right? Then number 2, invite people in. This is another advantage if you have not hosted events before. You can go and talk to everybody you know that has anything to do with your topic and just be like, hey, I'm going to be hosting this free XYZ soon. Let me know if you know anyone who'd be interested in it. You can talk to all your friends and family about it even. And that's how easy it is. This is the kind of support that we get in the Ambitious Academy, because sometimes it's the simplest action that we can take that feels like the hardest until somebody just points out like, well, just do this. And you're like, oh, that's why I need a sounding board. That's why I need a coach in my life too, is because I overcomplicate the crap out of everything. Even though that's what I do for other people, I uncomplicate things for them and give them clear steps that are doable, that are easy, that they can go and execute. But I need that coaching coming to me too. So don't feel bad if you feel like, man, I'm smart, I should be able to figure this out. We all need help. We're not meant to do this thing alone. Women love connection, and we love to have somebody helping us. And you love to help other people. So just think of that as a cycle. It's a cyclical thing, right? So you create your event, you invite people in, as many people as possible. You can get into Facebook ads and all that stuff later, but I wouldn't suggest that at the beginning. I would suggest keeping it super simple. Bells and whistles later. Get fancy later. Get focused first. Then you're going to deliver some sort of content, 3 bullet points with 3 bullet points max under each one of them. That's it. And then you're going to put a call to action at the end. So hopefully that was helpful. If that was like, oh my God, I can't believe how easy that is, please type easy in the comments right now, because I'd love to come back and just be like, this makes sense to me. If it's clear. Okay, so my call to action, this is the end of my 3-day workshop. I'm going to show you guys how I do this. My call to action is, number 1, if you feel like this is sort of making sense, but you don't know how it would work in your business, or you kind of need help with your messaging, or you're not sure about offers, wherever you're at, if you feel like you're spinning and you're not clear on next steps, then DM me on Instagram or Facebook, and we will set up a time to talk so that I can break you through that. I will set up a free strategy call. to break you through whatever it is that is clogging your brain, whatever's making it muddy and foggy for you, right? What I want you to walk away with is clear next steps in your business. My favorite thing is when coaches will do this, because they'll say, hey, if you're not sure if you want to work with me, jump on a free 30-minute call with me, and if I don't help you in a massive way in 30 minutes, then you'll have your answer whether we're a good fit to work together or not. I wish more people would do this. Please do not book a call with me if you're not going to show up, though. I have to say that. Sorry, I know most of you are not like that, but it drives me bananas when people book a free call because they feel like it's a good idea and then they don't show up. And I'm like, dude, I was giving you away. Like, I charge $500 an hour for my coaching. Half an hour with me, technically, I guess, is $250. Please come to that free call. Okay. Number 2, the Ambitious Academy. This is going to be my baby. I'll drop the link for this. I've made a beautiful sales page about it. Basically, what this is you are going to come in and we're going to set up your 6-figure framework for you, for your business. Most of you who are coming into this will be coaches. Some of you will be service-based entrepreneurs. But I love to create momentum and fire and massive action in somebody's business. So if that sounds like you, then reach out to me and ask me about it. But I'm going to drop the link for this after this. The Ambitious Academy, you are literally going to build your brand, grow your audience, and learn how to sell your offers. Like, I can make it super fancy with all the bells and whistles, but this is what we're going to do. So inside of that, we are going to help you find your fire. We are going to figure out exactly who you want to work with and the problem you want to solve, and find the words. We're going to nail your messaging. We're going to find the words for how you can actually go out into the world and pull the right people into you. So there's nothing worse than working with a whole bunch of people that are the wrong fit for you. Honestly, I know at the beginning it can seem like, well, I just want to make XYZ amount of money, but you don't want to pull in a whole bunch of clients that don't align with how you like to teach and empower and coach and serve. Because it just makes you feel like it's a chore, and you can go back to a job if you need a chore. You know what I mean? Like, this is online business. If this doesn't light you up, you are not doing it right. Okay, so build your brand. We're going to talk about content and a content plan, so you know exactly what to be putting out, how many posts, what type of posts. We're going to make it super simple so that you are showing up consistently on social media for your visibility strategy, right? We're going to talk about your audience. What is your plan? What is your strategy for lead generation? Are you pulling people in by messaging them? I like to do a few different ways. I pull people in with market research questions because I legitimately don't pitch those people, but they do usually, most of them end up in my audience watching my visibility afterwards, which is a bonus. Some of you might even have come into this that way too. So how are we going to generate leads for you? Your lead gen strategy. And then sales. What are you selling? We're going to put together some easy offers. Maybe by the end, you're going to have a signature offer built, and that's awesome. Some of you will be in a different position where you're like, I've been able to sell this. I've done a lot of one-on-one coaching, but now I'm ready to go to group. Awesome. We'll put together a group program, right? So we need to have your visibility, your lead gen, and your sales process nailed down, which, remember, I talked a lot about how your sales process is just, when you're first starting out, it can be as easy as, hey, let's jump on a clarity call next week and we can dive into your specific situation. When you get a little bit more advanced, it can be like, hey, go fill out this questionnaire and apply for this program. Or, go to this masterclass and then stack a couple of events close together, like within a week or two of each other, so that you're starting to figure out who's really paying attention, who's like the cream of the crop, who are the ones who are really paying attention and picking up what you're putting down. Does that make sense? Okay, so all of this. And then we're going to figure out the systems to support. And don't get crazy about like software systems and stuff. I just mean, what are the action steps? Brand, audience, sales. The strategy is visibility, leads, sales. It's getting really messy now. And then your systems that support those. So whether you are doing this all by yourself or whether you have a VA hired or you're thinking about hiring a VA, I can help you through that process. I love my VA. We are going to figure out, okay, for your brand and your visibility, what are the action steps? What are the actual things that need to happen? Usually that's a social media content strategy. If you're a little more advanced, you're probably also going to have an email marketing, like an email list to serve as well, which all that stuff can just be repurposed. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So stay out of how this is all starting to look confusing. We are going to build your brand with a content strategy. We are going to grow your audience with a lead gen strategy, and we are going to sell out your offers with the sales process. Does that make sense? Hopefully that is super easy to understand. The thing is that you and I both know that you have enough information to go do this. What you need is the support and the accountability and the mentorship to do it. Hi, Lori. I just saw you hopped in. So if you have questions, jump into my DMs. I promise 1,000% I am not going to pounce on you if you ask me questions. I can't stand it when people do that. I can't stand how that's how people act in Facebook groups out there too. If you have a legit question you want to ask me, just ask me. I most of the time will voice note you back. Sometimes I type, but usually I voice note because it's faster. Number 2, go check out the Ambitious Academy sales page. This will change your business. This is going to be a 6-month program. This is my signature. I'm going to throw everything at this thing. The Ambitious Academy. Woo! I can't wait. So if you have questions, let me know. If you would like to jump on a free strategy call, let me know. And go check out the Ambitious Academy. If you know you're ready to jump in like right now, then we could book your onboarding call like right away. That's where we're going to get you super clear on what it is that you want to accomplish, who you want to serve. But I need to get into your business with you so that I can help you move forward over the next 6 months, because I'm invested in your success with you right there, right beside you. I can't wait to have my first client from the Ambitious Academy come through. This is the launch. So if you want to be part of this, I'm so pumped. I can't wait to have my first person hit 6 figures. It's going to be amazing. Anyways, if you are a runner, you're an action taker, you do not need your hand held, you are going to come in, ask the questions, go execute, do the work. Come back when you're spinning or if you're confused. That's awesome. That's what I'm here for. But then you're going to go and freaking execute and do the work and do the work and do the work and stay the course and make sure you're staying in your fire. Then this is going to be for you. The Ambitious Academy. 6 months to set up your 6-figure framework for sales in your business. We cannot keep fooling ourselves about a 6-figure business without sales. So let me know if this sounds like it's for you, and watch my stories on Instagram too, because I'm going to be talking a lot about it over the next little bit. And side note, I just dropped an offer this morning that's all about Ambitious Unleashed. So if you want to just jump into a 30-day intensive container with me, we're going to be talking major mindset level up. We're going to be talking about how you show up consistently, how you show up unapologetically, and how you literally go from like, I'm a self-employed entrepreneur to a CEO mindset. It's going to be a huge shift we're going to take. So it's going to be 30 days to change it all. Those are my offers right now. If you are interested, jump into my DMs, and I hope you guys have an amazing week, and we will talk to you soon. Cheers.